As you guys saw, I just shipped off my Nikon Z50, the camera I've been using as my second body for my landscape photography for quite some time now. And I've raved a lot about this camera, but there's a reason why I sold it, and that's what we're talking about in today's episode. What's up guys, it's Product Photography, back in the video, and today, as a lot of you guys know, I had a Nikon Z50 plus a 50-250 for my landscape photography. And honestly, it was a fantastic combo. Not only was it extremely lightweight, it made it really easy to carry in my bag. I didn't feel like I had a bunch of weight in my bag because of the camera and the lens being so small. And it was a second body to my Nikon Z6 with my 14-30. Having that second body was honestly such a huge thing for me, because mainly I didn't have to switch out lenses when I was actually going out and shooting. It was just extremely easy to just take out one camera, put in another, and not have to feel like I have to worry about the elements and the sensors and so on. And on top of it, the Nikon 50-250 was the only lightweight telephoto at the time, because we didn't have a 70-300 and whatnot. We still don't, but that's just one of the only telephoto lightweight lenses that we had for the Nikon Z system. So if you really wanted a lightweight telephoto lens, you could only really get the 50-250 for the Nikon Z system, and that was a crop sensor lens. And honestly, it actually performed very well. I feel like I was very pleased with the photos I got. I was very happy with them. But why all of a sudden did I switch to another camera and sell my Nikon Z50? Well, as a lot of you may know, I've actually been using a second Nikon Z6 in my bag for a while now. If you saw on my Nikon Z full frame camera kit video, you saw that I did not have a Nikon Z50 in there. I just had the two Z6s. And there's a big reason for that, because, well, full frame for me is just superior to crop sensor. And the setup I'm using right now is for my landscape photography to replace the Z50 is my Z6 plus the 24-200. I've raved about this setup for quite a while now, and I'm really happy with it. But selling my Nikon Z50 was definitely not an easy move. I've had this camera for quite a bit, but honestly, in my eyes, it's the APS-C side of things that I feel like did not hold up to what I wanted and my standards as a photographer. As a lot of you guys know, I'm very picky when it comes to the gear I have, the image quality that I want, and the photos that come out. I want the utmost best quality and the most lightweight package and form factor possible. And for me, APS-C just wasn't cutting it. I just feel like I wasn't getting as good dynamic range. I wasn't getting as good colors. When I was editing a Nikon Z50 photo versus a Nikon Z6 photo, I could tell the difference night and day. And honestly, it's not a knock against the Nikon Z50. The camera actually performed very great, and I was very happy for what I had. But when you compare to full frame, it's just apples to oranges. You really can tell a difference. And for me, that was a big reason to actually go over to going full frame completely. Better dynamic range, better colors, the images just feel better. Those are the three main reasons when it came to image quality for me that I just really needed that full frame sensor. And for me personally, I can definitely tell the difference between that full frame and the crop sensor. It's just the depth when you're editing the photos is not nearly enough when you're editing a crop sensor image, and the colors just simply don't stand out. There's just a whole slew of things that make a difference when you're actually editing. And it's a lot of it has to do with feels and what you want as a photographer. Simply put, when I'm shooting my photography, I want the best equipment possible to fit my needs as a photographer, and the Z50 just wasn't doing that for me. I just felt like I wasn't getting the images that I wanted straight out of camera. The images did not necessarily pop the way I wanted them to. And all this is very, very subjective, guys. Like, I feel like I'm saying all these things about the Nikon Z50 when before, I had these raving statements, and I stand by those statements about how I said that I really actually like the dynamic range, I actually like the colors. But when it comes to, my needs as a photographer, they definitely change over time. The equipment changes over time, and you want to be able to create the best images possible. And I think moving to full frame was the right move for me. And now there's a few main advantages for actually having an original Nikon Z6 as my second body paired with my Nikon Z6 I have right now. I pretty much have two identical cameras. First of all, when I'm actually taking the photos from my cameras, putting them onto my computer, the image files and how they actually look are the exact same. I don't have to worry about editing a Nikon Z50 file and a regular Nikon Z6 file. Completely different. I can edit both of these files from both of the cameras the exact same, because, well, they're both the same camera. And that actually really helps a lot in the post-production process and getting the certain feels and looks I have on the actual files and the images. I feel like it really helps a lot, and it makes my workflow much more seamless, much easier to use. And on top of it, keeping it consistent also translates to the controls on the actual camera. Both of my Nikon Z6s actually have the exact same controls, exact same layout functions. and the Nikon Z50 had a slightly different form factor when it came to the body, slightly different controls, so it wasn't able to be exactly the same, which is honestly a big reason why I think if you're going to be picking up a second body as a photographer, you should get the exact same body. Don't feel like you have to, get a lower body because it's your second body. Get the exact same one, because when you're actually moving from camera to camera, you have to, rewire your brain, think, okay, how am I going to shoot with this camera versus this camera? And then you get to the post-production process, and then now the files are different. Just do yourself a favor, get the exact same camera for both of your second and your primary camera. It's going to make your life a lot easier. I don't really understand why people do the whole thing where you have one body different than the other, but that's a different video for a different day. But that's why having the Z6s actually makes my life a lot easier. Having the same controls makes it a lot easier when I'm actually out shooting. Don't have to fidget with anything. I know exactly what I'm doing when it comes to both these cameras. And honestly, this just helps create a better shooting experience overall. I feel like I enjoy my time out when I'm shooting. It makes it easier when it comes to my actual workflow, not only in the studio, but out here when I'm actually shooting. It's just a better time overall. And, like I said, kind of in the middle of this video, I stand by everything I said about the Nikon Z50. I still think it has great colors. I still think it has great dynamic range. I still think it has incredible sharpness. That is one thing that I can actually vouch for with the Nikon Z50, is that when it came to that plus the 50 to 250, sharpness was not an issue. The images came out great. So I really would not worry about that when it came to actually shooting with the Nikon Z50. But for me personally, like I said, it's just not the camera for me. And I would still recommend this camera to a lot of you guys out there. Probably people who aren't nearly as picky as me when it comes to image quality and all those sorts of things. Like the Z50 is still an incredible camera. If you pick it up, you're gonna absolutely love it. So anyways, guys, yeah, let me know what you guys think about my switch from going, sort of APS-C full frame to now completely full frame, going from the Z50 to a second Nikon Z6. I think this is a great move. I'm really happy about it, and honestly, the images I've come out with the 24 to 200 and the second Nikon Z6 have been absolutely incredible and stunning. So I'm really excited for what the future holds. I think this is gonna be my landscape photography setup for quite a while now, because I mean, what else do I really need? I don't really need fast autofocus. I don't need anything else. I just need both my Z6 and I'll be happy. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section down below. If you have not gotten a chance to visit my website, I do have a website live in my description. I'm selling photo prints. I have my portfolio up there. And soon I'm going to be having a blog where I take these videos, put it into a blog format, and you can go ahead and read it all online. So I'm really excited for that. I think some great things will be coming. So check it out, website down in this link down in the description down below. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching and experiencing the world with me today. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.